CTV News political commentator Tom Mulcair, former leader of the NDP. He was watching the game as well. Tom, it's interesting, too, to sort of see how this plays out politically as well. You know, Canada winning that game. What's your read on what it means?
Todd, I think that absolutely everything is political right now. I mean, you know, the whole bit about the 51st state is the stuff of a novel about an irascible American president threatening to take over Canada. Yet it's happening. And the very fact that that game took on that proportion, somebody changing the words to the national anthem to send a message, and Canadians across the country staying up until the end of the, of the game in overtime, it was. I've not met anybody who did not watch that game. And so it's an important thing for us as Canadians to be able to stand up and say, you're threatening to take our country away. You're goading us on this, talking about Governor Trudeau. Well, take that. Yeah, Premier, let's just push back constantly against the Americans right now. Trump, I think, has been getting a bit of a free ride. He's like a typical bully. People didn't know quite how to react to him at first. I think that some of the best pushback against Trump has been coming from former prime ministers, frankly. Stephen Harper has been out there several times. Jean Chrétien has been out there. Joe Clark, full of good sense and great advice. So it's fun to watch the people at that level across the country saying, look, we've got to send a clear message to the Americans. Trump's not going to get away with this. And even the fact that Trump so far has not really been able to move forward with his tariffs shows that there are smart people around him saying, boss, this isn't just money that comes into the coffers of the United States. This has to be paid for by somebody. It's going to be paid for by American consumers. And the more they understand that the price of a Ford F-150 is going to go up $1,500 and the tank of gas is going to cost you $20 more, the average American is going to start to say, well, what's going on here? I thought you were supposed to help us avoid inflation and avoid increased costs for everything that we have to pay in American society.
I know that obviously President Trump has joked around, although some find it quite offensive, calling Justin Trudeau a governor, and sort of the counterpoint referring to Trump as Premier Trump as a way to push back on that. I wonder whether you think we may have reached a breaking point here where the relationship, Tom, between Canada and the U.S. is now badly damaged because of Trump, and we're only a month into his presidency.
I think your whole sentence includes both ideas. The relationship is badly damaged because of Trump, which to me means that in a little bit less than 4 years, when Trump is gone, because this too will pass, Canada and the United States will get back to a good relationship that we've always had for 200 years. Donald Trump is the person that he is. He makes stuff up. He lies constantly. He threatens. He cajoles. He thinks that he's always going to get his way. And on this whole tariff deal, the fact that nothing really has been happening the way he said it was going to roll out, he said it right away, and then he had to say 30-day pause, and then he keeps looking at it differently. He understands that it's easy to say, but not easy to do. And so the biggest problem that he's got is his budget. He can't close his budget. He sent in Elon Musk to supposedly clean house in the administration, but they still have no handle on that. They don't know what that's going to represent, and he's going to have a great deal of difficulty, bringing in the next budget for the next fiscal year of the United States of America. He thought he had found a real trick with these tariffs, but he's starting to learn that it's a complete chimera. It's not something that's going to be easily done.
You've got a pretty good read on where Canadians are at. There's a lot of anger out there, disappointment, betrayal. There's a Buy Canadian movement, the hockey game last night. How does this play out, do you think?
It's one of those things, Todd, Quebec as I do. It's playing out identically in Quebec as it is in the rest of Canada. People in Quebec are as upset, but they're also, understandably, like all Canadians, they're concerned. I mean, this is a period of instability and insecurity, and people want the Canadian government to be pushing back, and that's felt strongly in Quebec. It's interesting to look at the recent polls. Separatism dropping like a rock in water. Like the support for separatism from Canada is dropping. It's everybody coming together. François Legault, who had said no to pipelines, having meetings with Danielle Smith, much more open to it. The premiers coming together and saying, let's get serious about breaking down interprovincial barriers. The feds said that the exceptions that they had built in to the Canada free trade within Canada deal, they're taking all of those away. And that's a model for the provinces to follow. So there is a bit of good that could come out of this absolute mess that's being caused by the chaos being stirred up, of course, by Donald Trump.
Does it not feel like it's been 10 years and not just 1 month?
Oh, absolutely. You know, it's unbelievable to think that it was less than 2 months ago that Justin Trudeau said that he was going to be stepping down on March 9th, and that's coming up. But that was on January 6th, and then Trump was sworn in on January 20th, as you correctly say. And yes, it's been a lot. Now, the only people who seem to be happy about that are people like you and me who earn their livings analyzing and presenting and talking about all of these political events and trying to break them down and explain them to everybody. But I would give that up in a second if we were able to go back to a peaceful, intelligent relationship with the United States. But we are dealing with a very chaotic figure who this week announced that it was actually Ukraine that had started a war against Russia. And that shows that this guy lives in an alternate reality. The average American isn't even able to deal with that. Even Fox News knows that it's Russia that attacked Ukraine, but Donald Trump apparently does not.
Tom Mulcair with his take, CTV News political commentator, former leader of the NDP. Good to see you, Tom. Happy Friday.
All the best, Todd.